What is going on, guys? Spazmattic here, back inside Destiny 2, and in this video I'm going to give you guys a review of the Duty Bound auto rifle, which is the Nightfall exclusive auto rifle from Savathun song. It was a Nightfall last week, so if you guys got the weapon, congrats to you. If you did not, you'll have to wait until Savathun song is the Nightfall once again in Destiny 2. But in this video, obviously you guys may know that when I do reviews of weapons, I really don't do the big numbers thing. I'm not a big numbers guy when it comes to weapons, like comparing damage outputs to other auto rifles in the game. But this weapon, I'll just like compare it to other weapons, but not like damage wise, but just give you my thoughts on the weapon as itself. The Duty Bound weapon auto rifle is probably, I think, the coolest looking auto rifle in the game. I do have the golden trade shader on it, so it makes it look a little bit cooler. This is what the weapon looks like without a shader on. It doesn't look the greatest, obviously, so I put a shader on it to make it look a little bit nicer. But starting off with the weapon, I'll be going over the perks here. It's an adaptive frame auto rifle, so it's a well-rounded grip, reliable and sturdy. It's got fast draw iron sight, lightweight sight, short zoom, and it also has red dot ORS 1. I'll put that on, show you guys what it looks like here. I don't like it that much. It reminds me of like a graviton lance type scope, and not a fan of that in my opinion. I also don't think it looks that cool as well, but I like to run the fast draw iron sight for that sight. In the middle slot, it's got ricochet rounds ricochet off hard surfaces, increases stability and slightly increases range. It also has accurized rounds, so this weapon can fire longer distances, increases range. Obviously, that is a pretty good bonus, but I like to run ricochet rounds just because you get the stability, and I like to run the range masterwork. So obviously, the range accurized rounds gives basically the same amount as what the masterwork gives, so I just like to run the masterwork instead and run ricochet rounds for the extra stability. And for the final slot, it has Zen Moment. Causing damage with this weapon increases its stability, and it also has Rampage. Kills with this weapon temporarily grant increased damage, and it stacks up to 3 times. Obviously, Rampage is probably one of the better perks for most weapons in this game. I know for auto rifles it's pretty good, especially for PvE, because you can get quick kills really quick, and obviously a kill gives you a stack of Rampage, and a full stack of Rampage, I know 3 stacks of Rampage, which is 3 kills, grants you a 65% bonus to your damage of the weapon for a short time. I don't know how much time it is. I'm pretty sure it's like up to 3 to 5 seconds or something like that. I haven't really timed it myself, but you get that extra damage boost for a short amount of time, which is pretty good for clearing ads, especially if there's a bunch of ads, maybe like in a strike you're doing Savathun song and there's a bunch of thrall in a certain area of the strike. You'll be able to wipe those thrall out pretty quickly with the Rampage perk, just because you have that boost to damage on the weapon. So comparing this weapon to others in this game, I know the Duty Bound is a 600 RPM auto rifle, and I was looking through my vault checking out my weapons, and I noticed there really weren't many 600 RPM auto rifles that I have in this game. I know 2 off the top of my head. There's a No Calamity 9, which is the weapon from the Forge from Brother Vance, and the other one is the Ghost Primus, which is the Raid auto rifle. I noticed that both of these weapons do not have Rampage on them, so I'm guessing obviously Duty Bound is the better choice here, just because honestly it looks cooler. I'm a guy about having good looks on my weapons, having my weapons look pretty cool, and they don't have Rampage, so obviously the Rampage weapon will be better in DPS wise, because when Rampage is active, it does more damage to the ads. Another thing about Rampage, I really wouldn't use this weapon in PvP. I mean, you can. It's going to be hard trying to kill those Graviton Lance and Vigilance Wing users, but you know, proccing Rampage in PvP really isn't the brightest thing to do, just because it's you have to get a kill to activate a stack of Rampage, and you need 3 stacks, so basically 3 kills to get a full stack of Rampage, and you'll just be able to melt down that last guy on that quick play team on the other team. So really not a reliable perk to use in PvP. I mean, you can use this weapon in PvP, plus it's a 600 RPM, and 400 RPM auto rifles like the Uriel's Gift and the Positive Outlook are way better choices to run with in PvP when it comes to auto rifles, just because 450 RPM auto rifles are technically the meta right now for auto rifles in my opinion. I know 720 RPM weapons like the Vlakadin and even the Perseverance really isn't that good. I know there's a Hollow Earth, which I think is a Dead Orbit auto rifle. I think that's a really good 720 RPM auto rifle as well. Those are really good for like raids and stuff like that, just because of the amount of damage they can put in a short amount of time. And so like the Duty Bound, it's a good weapon. I would say it's a pretty decent weapon, but I would use it mainly in strikes, heroic strikes, maybe a prestige rifle. I really wouldn't use it in a prestige rifle, just because in like high tier activities like the raid, prestige raid, and prestige nightfall, you have weapons like the better devils, the midnight coupe, and just like other, even hand cannons in the kinetic slot are way better choices than the duty bound just because of their damage output on enemies in the game. But like I said, this weapon is pretty decent. I think the best auto rifle for the kinetic slot is the origin story, because it is a 450 RPM auto rifle, and it also has rampage as well, like the duty bound. And obviously, like I said, with a 3 stack of rampage, you get a 65% boost to your damage on the weapon for a short amount of time, which is pretty good. But like I said, this weapon, it definitely has its advantages and its disadvantages, obviously, because it's an auto rifle in the kinetic slot, and it's obviously way better to run like a better devils, a hand cannon in your kinetic slot when running in PvE. But like I said, really not the greatest weapon for PvP, just because rampage is a perk. You could run Zen Moment, but you won't be getting that damage boost to your weapon if you get a kill in PvP. But like I said, I'm more of a guy when it comes to weapon reviews. I like to look up my gun and how it compares to other weapons in the game. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this review of the duty bound auto rifle, which is the Nightfall exclusive auto rifle from Savathun's song. It was last week's Nightfall, and if you guys want to get the weapon, you'll have to wait until Savathun's song is the Nightfall in Destiny 2. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this review of the duty bound auto rifle in Destiny 2. If you guys enjoyed this review, don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys later back inside Destiny 2. Peace.